Good afternoon. Whoever gave me that idea about putting the camera sideways, that was so true. Thank you for the idea. The only problem that I have is I can't keep my fingers away from from the camera section. So it keeps popping up. That's my only challenge. But anyway, I was thinking still about Discount Hub's comment yesterday, and I feel as if I need to do it complete justice. So I'm going to read it today during my lunchtime. Right, let me take off my glasses, see my wrinkly eyes. Okay, here we go. Your insights into Marwa are not quite correct, and this person really worded their thing politically correctly, if you will. But I think it's because of your lack of understanding of Kenyan society. Mara has said he has no friends, even in Kenya, which is odd given the fact that he went to primary, high school, and college in Kenya. Why doesn't he have friends? Well, Discount Hub, I think it's normal for certain people to encounter the problems in life as not having friends, and it may be for various reasons. My reason or my justification for it was because I was removed from my country at age 6. I mean, I remember when I was in my early childhood, I used to have lots of friends in the neighborhood, but then I was also discovering that I didn't have friends. I was discovering that I spoke with a lot with the youngest sister in the family who was closer to my age, but she was still 7 years older than me. Because I was discovering at earlier than age 6 that the isolation um, that I encountered in life, and maybe it's because I didn't have a mother around, etc. To really, really, really feel that warmth. So I think for Myra's sake, there may be many reasons why he may not have friends. I'm looking at my brother, and I realize how he got married in his late 20s, his high school sweetheart, and I'm thinking, well, why didn't Myra ever have maybe any girlfriends to be able to have memories of high school sweethearts in Kenya prior to his traveling? I mean, if he went as far as college in Kenya, that means he left Kenya in his early 20s. So he should have had friends. But then you have to realize that Mara had an accident that may have isolated him from others. It wasn't an accident. To make it worse, it wasn't an accident. God knows what they called him, what justification was given to that slingshot where he lost his eye, and Discount Hub does mention the loss of his eye later on. Okay, so and even in the Bible talks about friendships and good and bad. Like if you think about Psalm 1, which says, "Blessed be the man who walks not in the company or in the counsel of the wicked or the ungodly, nor stands in the way of the sinners, nor sits at the seat of the scornful and the mockers." Be careful, and we realize that Myra was in that situation when he first came into the US, where he was being mocked by very good people, by the way. It's not that they're bad, it's just that, all of us find time in our lives when in our encounter in our social environment where we may not be behaving in the best of manner or have the maturity to behave as we should, right? So the Bible also says Proverbs, also encourages friendship and believes in the friendship that Hub mentions here. But I found it very interesting. Something that I think that relates to Myra is in Proverbs also. Proverbs 25 verse 17, which says, "Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill of you and hate you." And that reminds me of the situation with his I guess age mate, from Cameroon, which is Ivan. When he visited Ivan last year for just a day or two, everything was happy, great. They were great, best of friends. But then when he spent more than a week, everything broke through, and that's also happened with Mara and Ponte, right? Letting you. So after Ponte started becoming like family, so little nuances, started becoming an issue. But then again, that's why the Bible also talks badly about family, how, a friend could be better than a family. Well, that's probably because friends don't live with you and family do. And this is what happens when you end up living together, So with Mr. Matua is more mature, and I think maybe that will be better, Anyway, Discount Hub continues and say, even in his village, the only people around him are those looking for work or paycheck, and other than that, it's foreigners. Okay, the foreigners that he met. My mother used to say that. My mother used to say it's only strangers that she is able to befriend and not her own family. When it comes to women, okay, he has another dilemma. Kenya is a very class-based society, and Mara grew up in abject rural poverty. Even by Kenyan standards, his village is quite poor. Okay, that is something that only one from Kenya would be able to know. But it also shows that Discount Hub is very sensitive to Myra's situation and very observant. Okay? And also, I guess, in light of that, is he? My question is he consequently womanizing per se and using people in the manner that he does? Because he is used in his community, so maybe he looks for the same type of interactions when he goes outside of the community. He expects people to maybe behave or think the same way that he does, because he is used, and he doesn't seem to mind too much being used, but he does when he finds himself alone. And also, one of the problems that I might think that might be causing the issues is Myra's lack of a biological father. I haven't been seeing Myra that long, but while we see a lot of people around him, we do see his sibling. Although there is one sibling that, or I don't know if it's a half sibling or whatever, or married, or his in-law sibling, that we haven't seen. I've never seen a father figure, like a real father figure. I see the stepfather figure, but I haven't seen the biological figure for me to know. It's like just the closeness to the mom. So Discount Hub continues. No urban middle-class Kenyan woman would even consider him, given his rural background and other things. Poor English, blind in one eye, still lives in the village, comes from a very small tribe. 98% of Kenyans still marry within their own tribes. Plus, YouTube is not considered a serious career in Kenya. You saw Davy Jr. change his major to accounting after Mara told him to study film. He knew that in Kenya, studying film will get you nowhere, but telling people you are an accountant would be acceptable. Kenya is a traditional conservative society still. Mara's other problem is that he has traveled so much, and this is where I think the woman problem comes in, because there is no stability promised to the women that he encounters. The women either abroad or the women at home. So suppose he didn't have the high school sweetheart, he didn't find a college sweetheart, but even after college at home, we would figure out, he could settle. But if he's not around to build a relationship, it's not easy to settle. And especially if he's also not willing to settle, and what Kenyan wife might want to travel with him? you know. That may be rare, especially in the condition, and we do not, and even when we look at the foreign woman who did travel with him, though she ended up leaving him. Okay, we're not sure exactly what the exact conditions were for which that she decided to leave him. I think after a year it was, but you know, she left, and she stayed and was stable in her house. She's not. I don't see her traveling, you know. But so you know, I really think Myra should try to settle, and he has to be able to commit himself to women because he's not committing himself. He's just going about from place to place and not really settling that. And D as a female was trying to do that, but I think it's hitting D faster because she's a woman than it is the brother Myra. Okay, so I really appreciate this convo for his insight, and you know, I'm able to share and partic and interact with what he had to say. So one of the things that I think Mara did find was he found a virtual community where he's able to talk. His soliloquies are very important, and they really help us know his mindset further. And also we can communicate with him, you know, be it through chat, through reaction. We communicate with him to tell him, you know what, this is what wrong is wrong, and and we're saying it in an honest way, Matt, you know, for honesty. Okay, so now I'm gonna just read what the last thing that Discount Hub had to say. Now he is saying he wants an Amish woman wife. Of course, he's not gonna be able to get an Amish wife. That's impossible. That's impossible. I have not seen any blacks who are Amish. Okay, so somebody had asked me, can blacks be Amish? I've never seen blacks who are Amish. If anybody knows Amish blacks, please let me know, because they are descendants of Europeans who came here for religious freedom, and they don't mix. They stay within themselves. So the guy is just weird, and I wondered if he might be on the spectrum. I don't know what you mean by the spectrum, but was just never diagnosed. I don't know what you mean by the spectrum. I don't think he needs any diagnosis. I don't believe in psychology. You know, it's not anything physical. Everybody goes through their own way of dealing with things. I think his losing the eye, anybody who may lose something, you know, it's very difficult. The other day I went to the eye doctor, and, you know, they're telling me that I have this thing that they won't be cured, but in the name of Jesus, it will be cured. But so I think, you know, so one of the ways that I think that happens is when you are told, oh, this is irreversible, and especially in his case where the eye was physically damaged in that manner, okay, it is not something too easy to deal with, and at a young age, at the age that it happened, it's not easy. And then it looked like it was something that he had to accept. You know, maybe the person was never apologetic. Maybe there was no ever, I am sorry for what happened to you kind of thing, and it's just he has to deal with it. So we really feel for him and his social battle. You're not alone, I am Mara. I too go through social battles. So I guess this is why your character is very interesting to me. All right, because I understand what it's like not to have friends. I don't have friends. So I completely understand you in that manner. And again, I encourage you to read the Bible, read the Proverbs, read the Psalms. You know, let God be your friend. Be a friend to God. And you also found God through the social media because you're able to communicate and to do your soliloquies. So that's all I had to say. Thank you so much.